Hello everyone, myself Jalaj Nagpal and yet again I welcome you to the EduTap. So today beginning with our series with or I should say continuing with our series with the topper, today we have Miss Mahwash Siddique with us, and she has recently cleared the most prestigious exam of RBI Grade B. So I firmly on the behalf of entire staff of EduTap and from all the teachers, I would like to congratulate her for bringing this particular glory to herself. So congratulations Miss Siddique.
Thank you, sir.
So first and the foremost question before moving to the core interview is that how is the feeling right now? Because you have cracked this particular exam at just the age of 25. So what is your feeling right now?
So it's unbelievable kind of feeling. I could not believe actually I've cleared the exam. I was hoping to, but you can't. Nobody can say ki we've cleared the exam.
So
But,
when you saw that particular PDF when it was uploaded on RBI Grade B
Mhm.
RBI Grade B, so like what was the emotions running up? Like whether you were searching for your roll number or how did it turn out?
I asked my brother to look for my roll
Oh,
number because I was so hesitant. But then he
hmm.
did say ki you've cleared it. I was like, you're lying. I checked it at least 5 times, matched it with my admit card. Ki, are you sure? I checked each and every number. I was not expecting it, to be honest. But
Okay,
uh,
okay, okay. But okay, अब हो गया है, so you can enjoy it, right?
yes.
Yeah. So let's start with the core interview now. So first we will be talking about phase one, right? Because phase one is one of the biggest hurdles which comes in the preparation of RBI Grade B. So first, let me know your preparation strategy for quants. So let's start with the most fearsome section, which is quants. So how did you prepare with quants, and or if you can also share your work details, or if you can also move to the work experience part, and then we can come to the QRE part. So first, let me know the overall work detail of yourself and just give me a small introduction regarding your brief.
So, sir, I have completed my graduation in 2019 from College of Engineering, Pune. Afterwards, I decided to prepare for UPSC. So I gave
Okay.
a few attempts. I reached till mains, but afterwards, unfortunately, I couldn't clear it. Then I started working. I was working simultaneously, so I got to know about RBI this year itself. This is my first attempt,
Okay.
and I used to think that RBI is something that people who have economics background can only give. So I had no previous idea about RBI. So
Hmm.
starting from April, March, April, whenever the form came out, that's when I got to know about the all the exam pattern and everything, and that's when I started my preparation.
Okay, okay. So you
So,
have a little bit of UPSC background, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. And now let's come to the phase one part. I think that much is enough for introduction part. So how did your preparation journey started was phase one? Let's start with quants first.
So with quant, what I did because I have an engineering background, I was quite confident in my quant reasoning and English. But still, I actually watched YouTube videos for on different free economic channels, educational channels, and I also followed things of IBPS PO, SBI PO
Okay.
exams for quant. So tried to practice, match my speed with the what was expected of me. And one more thing was the basics, because last year in the previous year question, I saw that basics are also being asked.
Yeah.
So I tried to brush up my basics, but then
Okay.
I stick to the YouTube channels for my quant preparation.
Okay, okay. So basically you build it from your basics and then you move to the advanced version, right?
Yes, sir.
So anything, any comments regarding time management in quants? Because many people stuck when it comes to the time management. They are devoting too much time on the difficult problem and they just ignore the easy problem. So any comments on that?
Yes, sir. What I did was that there were few areas that you will understand yourself only, that this is my strength, this is my weakness.
Hmm.
So if it comes to weakness, like questions related to boat and these kind of questions, I would normally skip until and unless it
Okay.
was my last hope. So I would skip these questions. I would do quadratic equations, or these kind of the questions which I knew that are faster to be solved.
Hmm.
Not obviously, if it's taking me more than 1 minute, I would skip it, go to the next question. So this will only come from practice. There is
Okay.
no hard and fast rule for this.
Cool, cool, cool. So basically, what I can understand is that you understand your strengths and then
Mhm.
move and plan accordingly, right?
Yes, sir.
So moving on the same lights, anything regarding reasoning, because quants and reasoning, it's like 50% of the paper. So what
Mhm.
was your strategy regarding reasoning?
So reasoning also mostly was being a practice based thing, with respect to the questions where you have these people sitting in a circle. I try to practice these kind of questions more, because this was not my strength. This was something that I've coming across first time.
Okay.
Then there are questions which are only one question for 1 mark, right? Like no background for, there are few where there's 5 questions with one set of
Okay. Okay.
paragraph, and then
Mhm.
there are individual one takes actually less time. So
Okay.
I started with them, and then
Hmm.
with the paragraph based question, I because I, again, it's from practice only,
Yeah.
seeing what you can identify which is easy and which is difficult. And you have to understand that also, ki you might start this question and you would not know it, so you have to be prepared mentally, ki, okay, if I
Yeah.
don't know it, it's okay, I can skip, I can go through the next question. I have this
Mhm.
time limit. Looking at the time is also very important in the midst of it. So keeping your
Okay.
cool is,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say, the biggest part. The big 70% of the exam is on the exam day itself.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
keeping your cool, and then it's looking at everything that's going across, and deciding
Hmm.
on the spot what you're going to do.
Actually, I truly wanted to pick on that particular line that you said.
Hmm.
70% of the exam is on the exam day itself.
Hmm.
So that is really very good ideology, and that is really very good thought, I would say, which you are having at this particular moment.
Hmm.
So that's really very good. Kudos. Now let's move to the English part. English is, I think, you have the UPSC background, so there you have seen that essays and all. So
Hmm.
it was comparatively easy than cons or all, or was it again a tough component for you?
Because I've been studying in English medium school, so there's a
Okay.
basic English.
Hmm.
We know English in that way. So again, not going for 30 questions, but if you can solve 25, 26 questions, I'll say that's more than enough
Yeah.
for English.
Yeah.
So
So basically, you are saying that you have to just target 25 questions with good accuracy.
good
There is
accuracy.
there is no need to solve all those 30
If
questions.
you're weak in English, then you can go for 24, 25, 20, whatever
Okay.
is your
Ha ha.
range.
So basically, a customized strategy.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I want to bring all these particular three subjects in one unison, like QRE. They are like the most fearsome. If you have someone from the commerce background, they are having more, I should say, trouble in the QRE. So you ponder a lot on practice. So how to do that practice? So can you spare some thoughts on that?
If you have no idea, if you feel that you're weak in the subjects, I'll say do have test series,
Hmm.
and do firstly, obviously previous year questions are very important,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
But after that, I'll say having, I followed YouTube series. You can also follow YouTube. There are multiple YouTube channels for it, and
Hmm.
people are having it for free, so you can practice simultaneously that. But also having test series will be very good for you, because again, this is time based. You will
Okay.
know the pressure of time is something that you have to understand, and it will only come when you're actually giving the test and you're understanding that what kind of range are you getting your marks in. If you're getting 60s, around 60, 50, then you can be a little confident, okay, if I work a little hard, if I can only give 1 month, I'll cross the range.
Okay.
Having a I had a few 10, 15 marks above cutoff, so having that confidence would be good for you, because you have to start preparing for phase 2. Having like after phase 1, you will be in 1 week, you'll have all the discussion whether I'll clear
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
phase
Hmm.
1 or not, which is going to be problematic. So if you're confident, you have to score at least 15, 20 marks above the range to make sure that you're in the list.
Cool. 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 So uh, along with test series, I think mocks also plays an important role. Agreed or not?
So mocks, in the way the test series, I was
Okay. Okay.
mocks only, right?
Okay, okay, okay. So you are having a synonymous for mocks and okay,
Yes,
okay, no
yes, yes.
issues, no issues. So that's really very good again. So now let's move to the last component of phase one, which is general awareness, which is like mighty general awareness, because 80 marks, that is 40% of the phase one is general awareness only. So just let me know your brief strategy regarding general awareness, and then we can have some more discussion on this particular component.
So what, because I started at a later stage, I did not have a lot of time.
Yeah,
And I was also not very aware about the GA that is there in RBI, because with UPSC you have a very big, there's a different kind of
yeah,
GK
yeah, yeah.
questions that are being asked there.
Cool.
So here what I did was, I looked at different videos of different toppers and tried to understand what kind of questions are being asked. And on base of that, what I did was, again, following YouTube was my core strategy.
Hmm.
So here on EduTap itself, there are daily videos that are being published.
Yes,
So
yes.
I tried to follow that. There is finance in news,
Hmm.
PIB in news, these kind of thing. And there's also monthly compilation, which was very helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because once I've missed out on the few months before I started
Hmm.
preparation, so that I completed through the monthly compilation. So I used to start with 1 month, April. I would open YouTube, take out 2-3 different sources who have monthly compilation, and I would make notes out of it. So
Okay.
notes, I think the point wise notes, very, very, very short, like 1 line for.
So were these notes physical or were these notes digitally?
I was making physical notes.
Okay.
I'll say if people who are not having a lot of typing practice should actually
Mhm.
make digital notes, because it's very convenient. Because
Mhm.
I was working in IT, I have to type a lot anyway, so I wanted to have a little different kind of feeling
Yeah,
in my
yeah, yeah.
preparation. So
So
that's why
basic.
I made physical notes.
So again, that's a customized strategy. What
Yeah, right,
suits
right.
you, you have to follow it. So how many months of journal awareness you targeted? Because I know that you have just started the preparation after the notification came out. So I don't think you have targeted for that 6 months, or was it like how many months did you target
I'll
it?
say I did preparation till December, November,
Okay,
December. But my main focus was Feb, March, January, Feb, March, April.
okay, okay,
These
okay.
4 months were my core preparation, but short, little bit 1-2
Yeah,
videos
yeah,
for
yeah.
November, December. What other thing that I did was, I saw that appointments were a constant thing, books and news were a constant thing, and these are something that can be solidified separately. So I would have different A4 pages where I would write books and authors, and
Okay, okay.
that news I would write separately,
Hmm.
appointment separately, news for different banks, SBI, any news come, it's going to be on a different page.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
that's why what happened was compiling it this way helped me in my revision, because
Cool.
SBI, if all news are at one place, I would know which news is from SBI, because
Yeah,
banks are very confusing. For
yeah,
me it was very confusing, at least.
yeah.
So
So
have
you have a very structured approach, I would say. Like you have very each and every page for revision ready.
yes.
Right? Okay, so that's again a very wonderful approach to see. Like many people which I talk to them, they are like making digital notes. Okay, but you have a totally customized approach which suits you. So
Right,
we
right.
can draw that particular conclusion that we have to follow that approach which suits you. You do we do not just follow the what the crowd is following, right?
Because sometimes what happened was some people would be very comfortable with writing notes with hands.
Hmm.
From them, typing would be a little, it's if it's taking more time, why type?
Yeah,
That's what.
yeah,
But again, typing is practice important here, because you have to write in the
yeah.
face too.
Phase two
So
as well.
you have to practice
Yeah,
it at some point of time.
cool.
But that's why I followed A4 pages, because I think in A4, if you can add one page behind it,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's rather than having a notebook, A4
So
helps.
basically, you can insert a page in between, and you do not have to tear that one
Right,
page,
right.
which we used to do in our school days. Cool. So now I think we have discussed various nitties and gritties regarding the phase one. So one more question which comes to my mind is regarding the fear of phase one, right? Cutoff itna jayega, cutoff niche rahega. Each and every time you see students are predicting that cutoff. So was it the same case with you after giving phase one, or was it like you were also scared to clear the phase one?
I was scared. I wasn't sure. I think I attempted 110 questions or something. So
Okay.
I knew that I can clear. There was a good, pretty high chance. But at the same time, I mean, cutoff is something nobody can predict. So
Yeah.
why waste time on that? So I wasn't thinking about cutoff. Like, just whatever is cutoff, I hope that I am above it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
So
So one more point which is coming to my mind regarding the phase one,
mhm,
it is regarding like the time management is the most important thing. Like you have to select the easy one and then you have to invest your time in the hard one, right?
mhm.
So this thing comes from test series, or there is something else also which you can help on it? Like,
I'll say practice. A practice you can do from test series. Test series, I
okay,
think, are the best part of it.
okay.
Otherwise, wherever practice is going to tell you where your strength and where your weakness lies.
And how many test series did you opted for? Like one, two, three, four? How many?
Sir, again, because I did not have a lot of time,
Okay.
so I'll say I gave around 6-7.
Okay, okay. Roughly, I should say below 10. So
Mhm.
below 10 me, you will understand that what is your time management, and then you can
Yes, yes.
proceed to the 70% of this, yeah, right?
Yes,
Which
but
is as
again, that is because how comfortable you are. If you want to practice more, practicing more is always helpful, because
yeah,
you
yeah,
will
yeah.
be confident. So
Okay,
in my
okay.
case, because I had less time, and I also
Hmm, hmm,
was quite sure कि ठीक है, this is enough for me.
hmm,
That's why I chose less.
okay, and one more question regarding general awareness. You
Mhm.
made any physical notes, right? So it was easy for you to revise. But
Mhm.
was it like bulky for you? Wasn't it like bulky? Because if you are saying like if you maintain SBI on one page, for
Mhm.
example, if PNB comes on the another day, and then you maintain PIB on the another page, wasn't it like bulky for you
So
much?
what I did was SBI, HDFC were on one side of the page.
Okay,
In
so
the
it was
next
like a
side,
tabular thing.
kind of that. So at
Okay.
least I think in 4-5 pages, my banks were done.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
RBI notification and everything were done on 2 pages, like four, one, two, three, four,
Mhm.
two full A4 size pages.
Yeah,
Then like that. So I don't think it was very bulky. It was easy for me in revision.
yeah, yeah,
Also, economic survey and budget
yeah,
are
yeah,
very, very important. I
yeah.
think that helped a lot. Revising that also multiple
Okay,
times.
so you made physical notes of budgets and economic survey as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's really very wonderful because that is something very unique which I'm listening to.
Mhm.
Because every now and then every topper says that they are making digital notes and so on and so forth, but your strategy is really very different and I really appreciate your efforts. Now let's move to the phase 2. We have enough discussion on the phase 1. As we all know, first let's discuss regarding English descriptive, which is the
Mhm.
less talked subject.
Mhm.
So how did your preparation regarding English descriptive as a whole turned out to be? Then we will come to the nitty-gritties of essay, RCs and
Hmm.
PESI.
So again, something I thought that I was quite comfortable in, so I did
Hmm.
not give a lot of time to it. But again, I did practice.
Okay.
So again, what I did was again searching on the internet, identifying few, reading few, how presses are written, how this is written, how that is written, and then getting a general idea how comfortable I am. I'll say people who are not very comfortable with English should and definitely read newspaper. Newspaper is important for anyone anyway, but people who are not good with English, if you're reading newspaper, you are hitting two things with one arrow.
Stone.
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
So now let's come to the essay part. I think you have that UPSC background, so it would have helped here as well. But
Yes.
the only difference is that in UPSC you have to write it physically, but in here you
Hmm.
have to write digitally. So did you practice anything more on this particular component, like typing speed and so on and so forth?
So yeah, typing I did try to manage. I had divided in my head how much time I'll give to each year. So like if
Okay.
20-25 minutes I have to give to Pressy, where will I start? So here I wrote 2-3 essays for practice, and in my head, okay, if I'm doing it in within the time, if word limits are matching, uh, typing again is because I work in IT. It's
Yeah, so
something that I
that's
was
taken care of.
comfortable in. But again, typing practice is going to be very important
Okay.
because the keyboard there is not going
Horrible.
to. Yes, sir. It's very khat khat karne wala.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Even sometimes the enter and the space bars takes lots of the effort,
yes,
right?
backspace. So my backspace was not working. It would work in certain angle only. So
Okay,
you have
okay,
to
okay.
understand that on the exam day itself. Ki, "Acha, theek hai." This adds on to your worry.
Yeah, yeah,
Exam ki
yeah.
worry hai, and then this was also there.
Yeah, that's really very true. I can truly correlate with that. So now let's come to the Prezi component. Like many people do not understand the basic structure of Prezi. They forgot to give the heading as well, and they're not able to understand what Prezi is all about. So any short comments regarding Prezi?
Also, what I did was keep heading is to be there. So
Yeah.
heading would be my first thing. Matlab, even if I'm not writing it that at that point of time, I would write some line, one word, two word, that it's there in front of my head, so I would remember to write the heading.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
something is there, and then while you're writing, you'd already get an idea. Don't think
Mhm.
too much of it. Don't think ki bahut hi-fi. You have to write a very used to have different words. It can be very simple. This pros and cons. This yeah.
Okay.
It's just and giving an idea to what it's a summary to what your press is like. So not having too much focus on the heading, but then also not forgetting
Mhm.
the heading.
Okay, okay.
Afterwards, uh, what I how I practiced was reading the pressy and then forgetting about it and trying to write it in my words, not looking at it and getting an idea ki what is
Okay,
there.
okay.
So yes, sir.
So basically, what you did is you just understand what whole paragraph is talking about, and then you try to rewrite the same in your words.
In my
The
words, that's
basic.
how I practice mostly. But then when while actually exam, it's like you have to look at the make sure the points are all there, right?
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
because I practice that way, so I had a habit ki, okay, I can summarize it well. So
Cool, cool.
while writing it, I was referring and yeah.
Hmm. So did you practice the essays and pressy anything in advance before moving to the D day?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Okay,
did write 2-3. Yeah.
okay. So you practice those particular components before moving to the D day. And last, let's talk about the RC, the reading comprehension part. I think that was a must doable component in English, or do you want to add some words regarding the preparation of RC?
No, if you have not done it before, please do make sure to practice
Hmm.
it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's easy.
So one thing which remains common in phase 1 and phase 2 till now is the practice component.
Yes,
Practice what makes you perfect.
right.
Cool.
Perfect.
So now let's come to the paper 2, which is ESI, the economic and social issues. So first, I would like to know your strategy regarding ESI as a subject as a whole, and then we will come again to the subject and the ESI. So first, let me know your overall strategy regarding ESI.
So I was, because again, I did not have a lot of time to prepare beforehand. So I was sticking to the syllabus completely, like nothing beyond syllabus, because again, I don't have time. So why study more? Because I can only complete this much.
Okay.
So same strategy I had, that let's say this is the poverty topic. So making one page sheet, one page answer for poverty, having 5 points for one topic, and at least few, again, pros, cons, these kind of dimensions for one topic is enough, because that's all you will remember on the exam day. Having 10 facts about one topic is not going to do any wonder.
And I think I think you have that UPSC background as well. So many UPSC background people are doing good in ESI. The same applies to you?
I'll say there was a decent understanding of the subject, but in objective part this time we had very, the questions were quite tricky.
Yeah.
In this exam we had the very core schemes were being asked, very older schemes. So that's something that I had decided ki if I don't clear it this time, I will study schemes. The schemes that are, we know about Manrega, they are schemes that everybody has heard about. So at least those schemes, you have to go into the detail and understand it very well. And not learn it, but understand it. Because if you understand it, you will remember it.
So basically, you are saying all the popular scheme like Manrega you mentioned, and there is also many different schemes. Those which are popular, you have to understand the details about it.
Yes, older but popular.
Yeah. So one more question which is coming to my mind right now is that you do not have that much luxury of the time. You started just after notification. So how did you manage to, I would say, avoid the rest component? Like, how did you select it that I have to read this only, I have to read this, and then only? Like, people remember all the 10 facts and then they go into this exam. So how did you skip, and how did you, I would say, make the road between the phase two component?
So I had to, the planning that I did after my phase one was, I decided, okay, I will give only 4 days to this subject. I'll give 3 days to management. So now in 3 days of management, I have to study this much. Dividing the topic, dividing the syllabus also. Like if there are 9 pointers, I will do 3 pointers on each day. Now, whatever I can do on that day is done. I will not look back at it.
Okay, so whatever you have in your hand, you just focus on that particular component. What is not in your hand, you just avoid and just say that nahi ho raha, so I can move ahead.
Because I remember in school days, what used to happen was first chapter we would give 10 hours, and then second chapter 6 hours, and then third chapter. So when you start, you give a lot of efforts on the starting thing, but then it decreases down. So to make sure that I don't do that, I had decided if I can't do this topic, I will leave it. If I can do it on the revision day or some other day, maybe I'll do it. Otherwise, skip it. Whatever is there for the day, I'll do that.
Yeah. So whatever is in your hands, you just focus on it. Simple. So now let's move to the current affairs, because ESI is full of current affair reports, indices, schemes. I think we have covered schemes component, but how did you prepare regarding current affairs? Just let me know regarding that.
So again, it's mostly YouTube only. You have finance in news on your channel. I used to religiously follow that. I used to watch sometimes 2 times also, because sometimes you forget it.
Yeah.
So once I watched again, after 5-6 days, if I don't remember what exactly was there in the video, I'll watch again. And this actually helped me, because watching YouTube videos feels different from actually studying. I can just lay down on the bed and revise it. So if I don't feel like studying, I can watch YouTube video which is study related. So the days that I don't feel like studying, I would watch YouTube video all day. But again, it is study related only.
So that's really very wonderful to see that how you are using technology, or I should say entertainment, because what YouTube is not all about entertainment, it's all about information as well, which is we are pouring in. All the YouTube sessions which we are taking, all the marathon session are really very helpful in nature. So that's really very good to see. One question which is again coming to my mind is that how you differentiated between phase 2 current affairs and phase 1 current affairs, because you will not see like phase 1 current affairs repeating in the phase 2 component. So many students are confused on these two particular distinctions. So can you throw some light on that?
So I saw the previous year questions, and even the coachings. If you watch different videos, you'll get an idea of how phase 2 is more of on the understanding sort of a part. Phase 1 is a little bit of remembering the facts and But I'll say I did not follow any particular different strategy for phase one, phase two. Except again, you don't have to remember the appointments, you don't have to remember the bank related news, but the general awareness of what scheme is there, what is happening in finance, what is happening in social. Again, following the playlists, finance and news and these schemes, I think that was enough for me.
Cool, cool, cool. So I think the ESI component and objective part is covered. Now let's talk about the descriptive part. So again, this time paper was bit much conventional. They were asking you on a wide variety of topics. So how did you practice descriptive component, and did you practice advanced answer as well? Like, did you wrote some answers in advance before the D-Day?
Not actually writing on the laptop. That's what I did not do. I could not do because I did not have time.
Yeah.
But for all the subjects, FM and ESI, what I did was I used to take out questions. I had followed I had subscribed to the EduTap crash course. So there, I could not read all the notes because I did not have time. But after every subject, there were a few questions that are given on the topic. So what I would do is I would take the question. I would have a whiteboard or something erasable with my hand or in my rough notebook only, and I would read the question and I would write 3-4 points that I could remember at that point of time.
Okay.
So that would take me barely 1 minute. Each question 1 minute, and that way I could practice a lot of questions because I was not typing it out again because I was confident in my typing, but I was able to revise and see if I can make points easily, if I remember this topic. That's what I did for every subject, and that I think helped me a lot.
Okay. So basically, in the crash course component, we have given you the crisp and short notes, and then we have given you the model question and answers, mind maps, which are helpful in some nature if you are using them diligently. So in your case, I think the model question and answer worked very much because you wrote in your whiteboard thing, and then you just remembered the small points which are coming to your
And
mind.
if I could not remember, there were answers there, so I could see some things, get some points, write that in my notes. Just only overviewing, because again, if you don't have time, you have to overview and decide what you can follow and what you cannot.
So one thing which I can again conclude is that how crash course has to be used can be learned from you. Like, it's not like going each word by reading each and every word. You can again follow the crash course and you can take the guiding like from it. Okay.
Yes.
So I think this much is more than enough regarding ESI. Now let's move to the finance and management part. So I think that was the most worrisome, I should say, more worrisome component for you because UPSC aspirants, specifically, you are also from the engineering background, so you might have got confused in the finance and management. Is this true or not?
For me, management, I was intrigued by management actually as a subject. Why it is being asked in RBI? What is there? So before phase one, only a little bit of management, I would, just watch video, something in my spare time, or read leadership theory, motivation theory. I found it very interesting. So because it was interesting to me, I kind of had a little bit of idea before phase one. Ki, acha, leadership is this, motivation is this, these are few theories. Not remembering it, not making notes, but getting a general idea.
Okay, so you didn't make any notes for the phase 2 component, right?
I did make it after phase 1.
Okay.
But so before that, I was only watching videos. So I got a little bit of idea through videos. But then afterwards, only made few notes. But not a lot of notes. And again, see, in all these theories, there are a lot of additional theories that are being given. I did not have time, so I could not follow. But if you're following it, it gives you confidence. You can use those extra theories in your answer somewhere and add, get brownie points. But because I could not, I stick to the syllabus and followed only what was there in the syllabus.
Okay. And the topics which you are mentioning, like the motivation, journal management, leadership, are the basics of management.
Yes.
So I think you are comfortable in that. But how did you tackle the higher advanced topic like organizational change, organizational behavior, ethics? So what was your strategy regarding these advanced topics of management?
Yes, so again, EduTap, because I had notes from EduTap. So again, one sheet of organizational behavior, understanding a little bit. You cannot write a lot in your answers. There's limited answers that you have to write, so you can recollect only a few points. So that is why having notes which are concise always helps. And
ethics component.
So same goes for ethics, point wise notes. And I've seen RBI ask very broad questions also. They're not asking very specific this theory only. They ask you implementation based, but a general wide idea. So yes, that helped.
So basically, RBI is asking the wide variety. They are not going too much deep, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in management, I think you have just, I think, made again the sheet components, which was helping you again. So that's really very nice to see that how a customized strategy is helping you. Now let's come to the finance part. So what was your overall strategy regarding finance?
So I saw a few previous year questions.
Hmm.
Again, syllabus, found out, Googled it, YouTube it,
Hmm, hmm.
did made my notes, and afterwards followed the model question and answers.
Again,
Yeah. And
okay, so
I also found out that FNM is actually more scoring than ESI.
yeah, definitely, because that is something which is predictable. You have
Yes,
a
yes.
certain set of questions, itna kar lo, and that will be there in the
That is
exam.
done.
But in the ESI, they can ask you anything.
In FM, actually, I think I scored 70 out of 100 overall. So it was
Okay, so
above, I'll say, decent
yeah,
above average marks.
it is above the cut because going 70 plus is really very good. And if you can remember, or I think you do not remember the phase two marks, if you are able to recall right now.
Say it was around 148, 140,
Okay,
something 10, 12 marks above the cutoff.
cool, cool, cool. So that's really very good leverage which you have taken
Mhm.
in the phase one, in the phase two, sorry.
Mhm.
And now let me ask you regarding one of most important, like the total descriptive component of finance and management. So what again that particular strategy of model and question and answer was followed here, or did you follow anything extra?
No, it was same thing was followed for all the
Hmm.
subjects.
Cool, cool, cool. Chalo. So then that's a really very good to see that how we have covered up right till now, right now. One
Mhm.
question which is again coming to my mind is regarding budget and economic survey. These are some bulky reports. So
Mhm.
what was the strategy to cover some bulky reports like NHFS survey, 15 Finance Commission report? So again, did you made any physical notes of budget? You have made, but what was your overall strategy regarding these bulky reports?
So, sir, the other reports that you mentioned, a family
Mhm.
health survey and everything, I would again watch YouTube videos of it.
Yeah,
Some 2, 3 videos are more than enough,
yeah,
and
yeah.
one page note for that is also more than enough because you
Cool.
cannot remember a lot of things,
So
and nobody can remember a lot of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So
So you have converted those bulky thing into that one page.
one page,
And
yes.
for that, to do that, you have to cut all the data which is there in the bulky note. So what is the strategy regarding that? For example, if in budget, you will see n number of allocations which have been made to n numbers of scheme. So
Right.
how do you filter those new allocations, and how do you say that कि यार यही करना है मुझे? So what is the
So
strategy regarding that?
initially, with budget, what I did was I watched videos, 2, 3 videos, and then
Hmm.
I read the PIB. I think PIB releases the
Summary,
report.
yes.
So yes, so that summary I did.
Hmm,
And so whatever was the newer schemes, new things that are being mentioned in the budget, I made
hmm, hmm.
some few notes out of it. I think I've also followed Vision IAS summary
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
first. And after that, with the allocation part, so some allocation would I actually did write ki, acha, is 60,000 crore is being allotted here, here, that.
Yeah, yeah.
So few which are being mentioned again and again because I did it 3 times, 4 times. So while revising it, I remembered ki this is being allotted here.
Hmm, hmm.
With some other schemes which I thought ki, oh, this is again, which you will know which schemes are important because you'd hear them in news often. So from that, I would write somewhere, okay, this is there, but I did not put myself in pressure ki, oh, I have to remember it. But because I used to revise it multiple times, I automatically did remember it.
Okay. So basically, it's again your customized strategy which you are following. There is no one hard line which fits to all.
No.
So you have to develop a strategy according to you. Cool. So just let me ask some quick fire question. Which was the most toughest subject in the phase two according to you?
Oh, I'll say the social issues part, the schemes part, because I thought ki remembering all the facts and
Hmm.
data was difficult for me.
And what was the most scoring? Is it FM again?
Yes, FM.
Okay, so that's really very good predictable answer to have. So cool. We have covered variety of topics on phase two as well. Now let's move to the mega show off interview. And I would like to tell my viewer that she has scored 64, right?
Right, yes.
64 in the interview, and anything above 55 is a really good score in the interview. So just let me know the overall build up to the interview. Like, for example, if the results of phase two are out today, so how did you manage and how did you prepare yourself for the interview? Because you are not having that big luxury of IIMs and IITs. Okay,
True.
so what was your overall strategy regarding the interview thing?
Yeah, so I had a very basic profile. I wasn't also sure ki,
Huh.
firstly, it was because it was my first attempt. I wasn't even expecting ki would I clear phase two or not, what would happen. I had no clue.
Okay, so
So
let me
yes, sir.
interfere in this between. Like, many people do not have that particular jinx, like they have that phase 2 clear hoga nahi hoga. So what was fearing you that mera phase 2 isliye clear nahi hoga? Was there something like any component went off the track?
No, so I will not say everything went average. So
Okay.
so because everything went average, I wasn't sure if I would be, scoring above the cutoff.
Okay,
Social
okay,
issues, the
okay.
schemes part wasn't very nice. ESI was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is all based on the cutoff. So I had
Okay.
no clue.
Okay, so it was basic uncertainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's continue with that question, which was regarding the interview thing. So you do
Yes, sir.
not have the luxury of IIT and IIM. So just please continue on that.
So, sir, after that, when the result came, my interview was scheduled on 6th of October. So, which was very
Okay.
last. It was the second last day. So, I had 2 months of preparation almost.
Okay.
I had time to prepare for 2 months. And then I planned a lot. Ki ye karenge, wo karenge. But then actually, you don't do a lot. But still, I'd say ki 1 month I had a good dedicated preparation. Again, because I was also working. So,
Yeah.
there's only a few hours that you can give each day. What I did, which I would say I might be different from others, would be I tried to follow a lot of business, economic, finance news from news channel kind of sources.
Okay.
Getting the idea from YouTube only, but there's Economic Times also has a YouTube channel,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Financial Business Standard. So I would try to follow these, read newspaper religiously every day. That's also very important.
Mm-hmm.
But I think getting idea from these different news sources, watching videos of chief economic advisor,
Yeah.
old chief economic advisor, and from multiple different people, so that gave me a basic
Mm-hmm.
understanding of economics and the financial situation in India. We had rupee falling down, so all these issues were very important at that point of time. There was
Okay.
MPC meeting. So these different channels, what they built my confidence,
Okay.
I know about these topics
Cool.
because I'm reading it from different sources. I'm getting different opinions. So
So one
making,
thing
yes, sir.
which remains the common is your YouTube preparation, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
phase 1 also you use YouTube,
A lot.
phase 2 same, and then again in the phase 3 as well you are using YouTube. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
really very good to see that how people are using YouTube free content right now, because that is again a very much helpful in preparation. So you have like you have seen various YouTube channels and you have built that particular strategy. So
Mhm.
did you followed any newspaper for interview?
Economic Times I was reading daily.
Okay.
Mint I started. I would have an overview of Mint, but I think last 10-15 days only
Okay.
I followed that. But Economic Times I was following daily for at least 2 months.
Okay, okay. So that is basically your interview preparation was based mainly on the economic times, right?
Times, yes, sir.
Cool. So now let's come to the D day. Now let's talk about the interview day, or let me ask you, do you have any previous interview experiences in any of
No.
these years? No. So it was like you were making a debut,
Yes, sir.
and many people say that the best attempt is your first attempt.
Mhm.
Yeah, the interview in the first attempt and you have scored 64, it's really very good. So now just take me through all the questions which were asked by the esteemed panel. What was the overall atmosphere in that particular room? So just because interview is something which is becoming very unpredictable, people are scoring low and people are scoring as well high.
Hi.
So just clear the first regarding the interview, please.
Before the interview only there's going to be a lot of anxiety that you'll have कि क्या
Yeah.
होगा अंदर. Nobody knows कि कैसे setting भी है, who is sitting, what their faces look like, no idea.
So they didn't give you the room tour as well?
No, so firstly we came in, we sat, and there was this hall kind of a thing where every aspirant was sitting in. Then
Mm-hmm.
you have your biometric,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then you have to give your documents, everything. So
Mhm.
that was happening in a separate place,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
one by one they would call you to the conference room. So
yeah.
one person is inside, one person is waiting outside, and everyone else is sitting in a room.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
just before, like when I was waiting outside for my return, like when my chance was the next, so that was when the anxiety was at peak. What would happen
Yeah,
in this room?
yeah.
So
E-
entering in the room
Hmm.
was I'll say, I think I was smiling. I As much as I remember. Thing is ki whatever you prepare before the interview, you would forget everything. I would do this in the interview. I would not, I would try to be, I would sit straight.
Mhm.
I don't remember, following anything. I think
Hmm.
it builds up, but
Uh-huh.
source ke you will not do it. Ki
Okay.
practice ke, but it's just through the practice. Internally, your body will behave in the way that you want, but
Mhm.
सोच से कुछ नहीं होता है.
So you
So
cannot mold yourself in that particular preparation. जो आप हो, you will represent
you
that
will,
self.
yes,
Cool.
yes, yes.
Cool. Now just take me through your questions which was asked in the interview and what was your overall experience.
So firstly, because my name Mahwash is a little difficult, so
Yeah.
first thing was, what is the meaning of your name?
Yeah. Yeah.
So started with that. They were quite, I'll say, cordial. The panel was nice. The chairman was sitting in the between. There was four male members, including the chairman, and one female member.
Cool.
So it started with that. Then what languages do you know? A little bit of that, and after that, they're like, why, how did you prepare for RBI? Which books did you refer to? Now, I did not refer to any specific bulky books. I told them, basic economic preparation was done through UPSC, and so they started discussing among themselves only ki, acha, हाँ, UPSC ka hai, but you are not following a very difficult books or something. You're following coaching ke materials, which are not very nice, blah, blah, blah. And so I did not make any remarks on that. I was just sitting and smiling. Then they started asking me, okay, now we want to know how much you know about banks. So they started asking me very basic thing. What is a bank? Now,
Okay.
so I told ki, how the asset and liability mismatch, ka bank, does this. So it started with very basic things from bank, because again, my background is not very not bank related or not very high tech related. So they asked me very basic questions. After that, what is a bank run? A very basic few kind of questions. So after this was asked by one panel member, then the female panel member actually asked me, what are the frauds that happen in a bank, computerized kind of frauds. So I was starting mentioning ki, okay, there's phishing and there's, but then she said, give me actual examples.
Okay.
So, which recently happened. I had no clue.
So they were digging you deep, right?
So I told her, ma'am, I don't remember any specific example. So she mentioned some urban cooperative bank, but she was smiling all the time. So I just thought she was trying to put a pressure, let's see what if you don't know something, how you react. I just said I don't know. And after that, they asked me a lot of IT related questions. One panel member asked me, how are the AI and machine learning can be implemented in a bank?
So you have a background in IT, that's why they are asking, right?
That's why, yeah. So then they started focusing more on my IT profile, my job, and how can that be implemented in a bank. Then they also asked me, they did not ask me why RBI, but then they asked me, why should you, who is not from bank or does not have any background in economics, why should we take you? That kind of question. I mean, this was a little bit predictable.
So did you practice those basic predictable questions like why RBI, why BTech, why something? Okay, so you predicted that as well. Cool. So anything extra which you would like to add, like did they ask you, or did they ask you anything unique or something?
So the chairman was mostly looking at you, just looking at me, and I made eye contact with him one or two times, and I wasn't sure why he was just looking, kind of staring way. So, but I just smiled and I was looking around, whoever is asking the question. But then afterwards, at the end, the chairman asked me, I would only ask you two questions, and then afterwards you can go. And he asked me about the cyber security framework of RBI. So RBI had released a document, so I had read that, thankfully. So I did tell him. He said there are 3 steps that are to be followed. So I told him, and then he did not ask me second question. He's like, okay, you can go,
because he knows that you knows about it.
And I think the chairperson, he's mostly seeing how you react to the different questions. Like, your personality is being assessed by him, and that's why he's staring at you.
Okay.
This is something that I thought afterwards when I was out of the interview room. At that point of time, your mind goes blank. Just ki kya ho raha hai on the spot.
So basically, it was a basic interview which was based on your profile. They didn't ask you something which is out of the box. They just have a basic theme that you have to be tested on IT and some basic questions, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think that was much on the interview part. Did you take any mock interviews anywhere or with EduTap?
Yes, sir. I took a mock interview with EduTap and two other places also.
Okay, so how was your mock interview experience with EduTap? Was it good?
Yes, sir. So it was very helpful. All the mock interviews were, it helped me gain the confidence. I'll say the mock interview online is a little bit different from what you would actually face face to face, because there's physical distances. But in in addition, I also practice I have a younger brother, so I asked him, he would ask me questions.
Okay,
So
okay.
he would ask me question and I would sit, properly, try to
Mhm.
answer him in that way, recorded myself, saw myself 2 3 times.
Okay, okay.
Because I realized, okay, if I shake a lot, because you do this subconsciously, you don't know,
Mhm.
you think you are not doing it, but you're doing it. So recording myself helped me understand how I am reacting in an interview.
So basically, it was a holistic preparation because you have done what every serious aspirant would do for the interview, right?
Yes.
So, any word for the future coming aspirants? Like, there are people who are scoring very low in the interview. Like, can you advise them that do not give the hope you can score again good in the future coming attempts?
Yes, so sir, I think being honest in an interview is very important. Being honest to
Mhm.
yourself and being honest to the interview. They would identify whatever you're doing. And I think they were trying to pick it also.
Mhm.
If I'm trying to lie, because they asked me counter questions multiple times. Acha, okay, is this really true?
Mhm.
So you have to be honest in that. And this would something that is inherent to your personality.
Mhm.
So building your personality would not happen in a day, 2 day, 2 months. This is
Yeah, yeah,
something that you'd have to either work on continuously, or you have to change the way that you look at different things.
yeah.
Also, liking the subjects and understanding, having a love for whatever you're preparing is very important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. So that's really very good to see that how you are motivating the coming people, coming future aspirants. So now I think we have talked at length regarding the phase one. Then we move to the phase two and phase three. So now let's combine all these three components and just as for example, if someone who's just starting the preparation after notification, what will be your overall advice to them? Because many people they are working like you, they are having UPSC preparation, they are working somewhere in the else firm, their working life is so much hectic. So what will be your overall advice regarding the RBI Grade B preparation for phase one, phase two, and phase three, combining all of them?
So I'll say that 4 5 months of preparation is more than enough for RBI,
Yeah.
and you can do that while working. So 4 5 months and 4 5 hours every day. Now, what you have to make sure is that you study every day. You Consistency is going to play a very important role. If you study one day a lot of hours and then skip it through devo practice, habit is not going to build up. Habit is going to be very important. Now, if you can't study a few days, like I could not, then what I would do is, again, I would watch YouTube videos late ke game khelte khelte. There's something that is going in my head at least.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm at least in touch with, yeah. And if I do throw some time pass, I would feel guilty also. Ki, nahi, 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 I did not study this much yesterday, so today I would actually study. I would make notes. So motivating yourself, nobody else can motivate you. You have to
Yeah.
motivate yourself. You have to know your reason why you are doing this. You have to have love for the subjects. You have to
Yeah.
have love for the process, and the dedication that you have. Ki, oh, I want to clear the exam. If you want to clear, you will clear.
Okay, so you just have to follow that process, being consistent and motivate yourself.
Yes.
Cool. So that is really very good to see. So thank you, Miss Mahwash, for coming at EduTap and sparing your time and giving such thoughtful news for us. So just one last question for you. In your journey to the RBI Grade B, I think EduTap crash course has helped you. Anything,
Yes, sir.
any words on that so that we can improve on further courses?
So I think it was quite holistic. If somebody is taking the course
Hmm.
beforehand, before the phase one preparation, I think it would help them a lot.
Hmm.
For me, because I had less time, I only had an overlook at but mind map was quite helpful. So
Okay.
the basic I get, it helped me in my brief preparation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, that's really very good to see, and no, a special mention to all the videos which we are
Yes,
uploading to
yes,
YouTube.
definitely that very, very, very helpful.
So we are having a full current affairs team who are working day in and night for PIB news, finance and news, covering all the important news. So thank you, Miss Mahesh. Thank you for sparing time, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thanks.
And I hope at this particular age, at 25, you have cracked the most prestigious exam. So hope to see you as a deputy governor in the future period coming time.
Thank
So
you so
thank
much.
you so much, and again, it was nice to meet you.
Yes, same here.